The instrument flight rating in a modular ATPL is usually carried out in conjunction with the multi-engine.
So 180, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn right to intercept the radial.
Yo recuerdo mis primeros vuelos en IFR que los hice como copiloto en un metro.
Yes.
Okay, Oscar, I will ask you to intercept the radial 0.
From zero to hero. Discover the complete process to become a professional pilot with the European Aviation School of Barcelona, an exciting path led by experts in each subject, instructors, active pilots, and students. From zero to ATPL license, we will reveal all the mysteries and answer all the questions. We will fly, learn, and enjoy the adventure.
The IFR for me as a student was quite challenging as well because I was working at the same time, and in my opinion IR requires a lot of studying, a lot of practicing home, flying home simulators if you can, and I didn't have a lot of time, so it was quite challenging. On the other hand, it's very rewarding because it's very cool to see how you're looking at that little screen, and then all of a sudden you reach minimums, you look outside and you have the runway right there. So it was very, very cool. As well, it was cool to see how all these phenomena, these illusions that we talk in human performance, where they tell you that you're going to feel things that are different to what you see, and it actually happens when you're inside the clouds and then you're turning, or you have the feeling that you're turning, but then you look at the instruments and you're not actually not turning. So it's actually quite curious, very nice.
Es normal que tengas que aprender a coordinar tu cerebro con distintas, que es lo que más le cuesta al cerebro, hacer dos cosas a la vez, con distintos parámetros que a la vez tienes que estar siguiendo, pero luego en la vida real es otro, no te diré que es más fácil, pero es un procedimiento diferente. Yo recuerdo mis primeros vuelos en IFR que los hice como copiloto en un metro y me costó.
Well, in reality, the first time that I get inside the cloud, I was always thinking that I will realize if the aircraft was in a straight position or something like that, and I didn't believe that if the aircraft turns or do something strange, I will feel it. But the first time that I came inside the cloud, I was super excited, and I was looking outside. I was flying in IFR, but I was looking outside, seeing how the cloud it became to me. And then suddenly it passed 5 seconds since I entered in the cloud, and my instructor touched me like, hey, look at the attitude indicator. And I was looking at the attitude indicator, and the aircraft was turning and it was banking, and I didn't even realize. So it was super shocking for me because I thought always that I will realize, and I didn't even feel nothing about that.
Pues al principio es bastante complicado de entender porque es súper abstracto, pero una vez lo coges tiene todo muchísimo sentido y es una pasada increíble entenderlo, o sea, me gustó un montón.
Al principio es muy raro porque tienes como la tendencia a mirar fuera, incluso a lo mejor no ves nada, pero tú tienes la tendencia de haber venido volando visual un montón de vuelos y quieres mirar fuera, y cuesta mucho entender que solo mirando dentro pues lo puedes volar, ¿no? Pero al final poco a poco vas encajando como todas las piezas y puedes hacer todo solo mirando dentro.
The instrument rating with EAS also surprised me in a positively way, because it was extremely fast and extremely quick, the period of time with which I completed all the hours. And you know, again, efficiency is key when you want to be quick, and so I was very happy with that. Now, in terms of actually flying IFR, it was also a heavy change for me because I'd had a lot of hours of visual flying, and I was very much used to flying what is with my arse, let's say, you know, with the sensations. And so I needed again to change my mentality a lot and focus on what I had, you know, in front of me, which was the instruments, in this case, the G950 or whatever. And I think I learned that especially during my simulator flying, my simulator lessons in their simulators that they have, because, you know, I you don't have much to see outside, of course, and it's not the real world. I love flying because I love seeing outside, but in this case I didn't look outside, I had to focus inside. So changing that mentality for me was the most complex thing, and once that mentality changed and all the procedures, well, the rest was quite, I wouldn't say easy, but less complex.
And again, it's another feeling that, okay, now it's more commercial, okay, we are following airways, and then we have the point A to B, but controlled by the approach of Barcelona in this case. So, yeah, I would say it's a different feeling, sensation, that you finally have some controls with the tower or the approach of Barcelona, and the difference is that 320, Airbus 320 is doing the same maybe in another flight levels, and you are doing the same in lower altitudes.
In EAS Barcelona we are very lucky because we have the same simulators of the same aircraft in the simulator that they will find in the actual aircraft. So they don't have generic simulators with random aircraft. They have TECNAM P2006 in the sim and in the aircraft itself. So this makes it very, very easy. As well, for the integrated students, we are the school that probably offers more hours of multi-IR. So they came out with a lot of piloting command hours of multi-IR hours. They go very far away with instructors, they do student piloting commands, so they decide where to go, they plan the route, they make the flight plan. So they come out very, very prepared in AR.
Me costó. El IFR es muy mental, el IFR es muy... Y has de estar encima, ¿eh? O sea, si estás un mes sin volar, yo, por ejemplo, cuando ya fui comandante, y estaba un mes de vacaciones, cuando volvía, lo primero que le decía al segundo es: llevo un mes sin volar. O sea, estate pendiente de mí. Yo ya la cago mucho, pero ahora me encantaba porque tú ves la cara del copiloto que se iba poniendo blanco y dice: no, es broma. Pero estate al loro, porque el IFR tiene que ser una cosa que tienes que estar muy al día y te puede llevar al huerto con un pequeño fallo. Hay gente que se estampa con una montaña por una tontería. Me costó al principio, luego como todo, ya lo tienes asimilado y ya es un trabajo automatizado. Nunca no caigas en ninguna trampa, desde luego, estar muy pendiente, pero me costó al principio, después no.
You have 40 hours of simulator, and then you have 15 hours of flight as well. So first of all, we will start with the simulator hours in order to introduce you the IFR terms, the IFR basics and the procedures of the approaches, the cruise, and to normalize the use of the checklist. And once the simulator is slightly more advanced, let's say between 25 hours and 30 hours of simulator, then we will start with the flight, because then you have all the knowledge that you needed to start it without stopping, because once you start flying, we will try to do it as much progressive and with no stops during the flights.
I remember this flight as one of the best flight.
Yeah.
You are flying for 5-6 hours and you are constantly working, and it's amazing. For me, it's amazing.
The instrument flight rating in a modular ATPL is usually carried out in conjunction with the multi-engine part. That way, you can carry out what we normally call MEIR, which is the multi-engine instrument rating. That way you can obtain both qualifications at the end of the required hours and take the exam together. For those students who take the integrated ATPL, this rating is part of the complete pack, and it's not considered as an individual course as such. In the case that you take the ATPL by modules, the requirements to enter are the following. Have a valid PPL or CPA license. Have a Class 1 medical certificate. have privileges to fly at night, FCL 810, have the multi-engine BFR qualification or at least the training carried out, since all the hours are carried out in twin-engine aircraft, have a minimum of 50 hours of cross-country piloting command flying, have a minimum level of English ICAO level 4, and have the theoretical requirements of ATPL passed, although in that case you only need the instrument rating ones if you only do the instrument rating part. This training phase consists only of practical phases. You are going to fly 40 hours of flight in an EASA FNPT2 certified flight simulator based on the TECNAM P2016. 15 hours of actual IFR flying in a TECNAM P2060 twin-engine aircraft, and 2 hours of simulator in the same EASA certified simulator for the PBN precision-based navigation part that we will explain later on in another episode of the instrument flight training.
AERIAS 1 November, holding short runway 31, ready for departure.
AERIAS 1 November, wind 250 degrees, 11 knots, maximum 17, runway 31, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 31, AERIAS 1 November.
This is a super demanding phase, very procedural. Callouts, the use of checklists, dozens of types of procedures for each flight phase. Again, it is time to change your mentality. Up until now, we have flown with visual references, looking outside as they say. In the next 3 episodes, this is going to change completely. Now it's time to focus our eyes inside the cockpit, and not only forget the external vision references, but also our bodily and mental sensation in the same way, to fully trust the flight instruments that are in front of us. We will learn the instrument flight procedures for each flight phase: takeoff, climb, cruise, descent and landing. All without the external visual references, or at least with very few or the minimum to operate safely. We will also explore communications with air traffic control and how to follow designated routes. We will delve into more complex navigation techniques, such as the use of navigation aids, the execution of standard instrument departures, standard in-terminal arrivals, or non-precision and precision approaches, and the planning of alternate routes in case of emergencies. In this episode, we will discover how the flight simulator is used to practice instrument flight situations safely and realistically. Simulators are an invaluable tool to hone all our skills before flying in the real instrument flight conditions. In this case, we're using a EASA FNPT2 certified simulator, manufactured by Softec Sim, and which perfectly represents a replica of a TECNAM P2060, the aircraft that we will be flying during the 15 hours of instrument flight.
Okay, Oscar, let's review what we have done on the first 20 hours of your IFR training.
Okay.
We're going to start reviewing the interceptions, both inbound and outbound. Perfect. So whenever you're ready, you can fly direct to Girona VOR. Okay, and then from then on, we're going to proceed with the explanation.
Perfect. So I'll fly direct to Girona VOR with the RMI.
Okay, that's very good. So can you remind me what RMI stands for?
Radio magnetic indicator.
Very good. So yeah,
which indicates basically where the VOR is, right?
Yes, exactly. That is correct. Well, the VOR or any station you are using it for. So you can use it for an NDV. So it's through the ADF, so it indicates where is the station.
Okay, so basically I go directly where it says to go on the blue arrow.
Yes, on the head of the blue arrow.
The head of the blue arrow.
Because you have both the head and the tail of an arrow, like a normal arrow, right?
Perfect.
So the head indicates the QDM.
Yes.
So what does it mean, QDM?
The QDM is the radio magnetic bearing to the station.
Very good. And the tail indicates the QDR. What does it mean, QDR?
The radio magnetic bearing from the station.
From the station, that is correct. Very good. So now can you tell me on which radial are we flying?
So now we're flying on the radial almost 210.
Yeah, it's a 202,
202.
which is a reciprocal of the one you have selected on the head.
Exactly.
022.
202.
Okay, so if I ask you to intercept the radial 180, yeah,
Yes.
but inbound, so what do you have to do?
So the 180 inbound. First of all, I'll have to select here. I can put the 180 here, like this, or shall I put the head on the 180?
No, it's exactly like that.
It's exactly like that?
Yes, because if it's inbound, you're looking to fly to the
station.
Yeah, to the station. So it's a reciprocal course of 180. In this case, heading north.
So 180, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn right to intercept the radial.
Okay, why you turn right? Can you explain me that?
Because I have the radial on the right. CDI captured. So I'll start turning to the left.
Very good. So, can you explain me why that green bar started moving?
Because we are starting to intercept the 180 radial.
Very good.
And at this moment when it's aligned, it means that we are on that radial.
Okay, that means it's like if we imagine the station visually, we are approaching the station from where?
So from the station, from the south.
Very good. So we are approaching the station from the south. Correct. Okay, very good, Oscar. That's all very good. So let's do another interception. Okay. Intercept the radial 240 inbound.
240 inbound.
Yes.
Correct. 240 inbound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tail on the 240 radial and the reciprocal is 060.
Yes.
And at this moment desired is 060. The head is north and I'm going to go 30 degrees to the left.
Which means heading 330. Very good. That is good, Oscar. So okay, Oscar, I will ask you to intercept the radial 040 outbound.
040 outbound.
Yes.
100 to go.
Check.
And now 040.
Yeah.
So 040. In this case, it's not gonna be like inbound. We're gonna see here the tail, the desired, and it's gonna be 45.
Very good.
Heading 1, 2, 3, 45 degrees. Alt. 6,000 feet.
Very good. Okay, Oscar, that's a very nice review of what we have done so far, which is interceptions inbound, outbound.
Yes.
Those represent the basic maneuvers But now, when we put everything in place, we can also fly approaches.
Okay.
We can fly either non-precision approaches or precision approaches.
Okay.
Let's start with the non-precision approach,
Okay.
which is a VOR.
So we're going to be flying a non-precision approach BOR to runway 19 in Girona.
Yeah.
So in order to do the briefing, we would check that we have the same chart, which is the 13-2 effective on the 15th of July.
Yeah.
And we would start briefing from the top all the way to the bottom. For example, the BOR in Girona is Golf India Romeo 114.1, which is on nav 1. And the final approach course is, in this case, 195. And the final approach fix is at 2,500 feet. And the minimum descent altitude is 930. And then we will go with the missed approach and see what the missed approach is. The minimum safe altitude in this case for our bearing now is 7,700. And it says that from the BOR in Girona, we will have to turn right to heading 022 in our case. Well, actually maximum 140 knots for us.
Yeah.
So on the 023 radian, right?
Yeah.
So we'll set on the CDI 023 radial. We'll intercept the 023 radial. So once we are over the BOR, we will turn right to intercept the 023 radial outbound to DME 12.0. Then we turn left to intercept the 195 course, which is the final approach course. On that outbound leg, we will be descending 3,600. We will turn 195, and at Nasgo, DME 10.0 on the 195 course, we can start descending to the final approach fixed altitude of 2,500. There we will intercept the final approach fix, which is DME 5.0 of Girona, and down to the minimum descent altitude, which is 930.